Welcome to the Film Coterie. I'm Roger.
I'm Adam.
And this is our premiere video of the Film Coterie on YouTube.
We've made the jump now. We've gone from audio podcast to full-blown YouTube channel. And we want to say hello to all the new subscribers.
And we are so excited to be a part of the Pod 6 network. We've got a lot of really cool content coming up.
A lot of our content will look like this. It'll be a review of all the new movies, sometimes with both of us, sometimes with us individually. And then throughout the year at the various film festivals, we'll be live from there. We'll be doing premieres, reviews, even just film journals of what the day entails.
And we have a great film to launch our inaugural episode. Probably, Adam, I would say the biggest film of 2020 so far, and that is Pixar's Onward.
Here it is. We're going to show you the trailer, and we'll come back and give you our thoughts on Onward.
Our destiny awaits.
Okay, I'm coming.
I see you've brought sustenance for our adventure.
No, it's garbage for the trash can, and you left the lid off. Oh, shoot! Get out of here! Shoot! Get out! Ugh, unicorns.
Okay, Adam, now that we've actually seen the video, let's talk a little bit about the premise.
This is a fantasy adventure from Pixar. So as you can see from the trailer, it is set in a fantasy world with some minor differences. In this fantasy world, everything you'd expect.
All the same tropes.
Elves, unicorns, magic spells, wizards. But there's a Pixar twist.
And of course, in Pixar fashion, they've decided to abandon magic. And so what has happened is the world has evolved into what is a modern city with cars and planes and electricity, and instead of the minotaurs running around, they ride around in vehicles now.
And they showed this in a smart way. They showed that it's just easier, and that's why the fantastical creatures chose to move towards technology. It was hard to cast a spell, but it's easy to turn on a light. So they showed this gradual change, and it's effective the way they show it.
Yep.
So the core of this movie is about a family that's lost their father. And the youngest son is turning 16, and he's never known the father. The father died right before he was born. He only knows his dad through photos and through a short audio recording that he has. And then suddenly he gets the ability, through a spell, to bring his dad back for 24 hours.
Right. And so he attempts to do that. Of course, something's going to go wrong. And here are these two brothers. One of these brothers, who the older one is kind of your gregarious, bigger than life kind of character, not afraid of anything, and he's all embracing the whole nerdy culture of D&D and RPGs. And then you have Ian, kind of the heart of the story, where he has kind of withdrawn in, and he's a little timid, and he's not had a father, in his mind, so he's missing something.
So let's talk about what worked and what didn't work for this film. Let's start with the most obvious thing. This looks very different for a Pixar movie. The art design does not have that typical Pixar aesthetic of how the Pixar people look in their film. They're leaning into the fantasy trope. And if you saw this trailer without the Pixar logo at the beginning, you might think it came from DreamWorks or one of the other animation houses.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It's not off-putting at all. It's just different. It doesn't. It has the story hooks and stuff of a Pixar film, but the look it's beautiful. They didn't spare any expense whatsoever, but it just looks a little different.
And you get over it quick. I mean, I was drawn into the film in the first 2 minutes. And then it all just looks right for that universe. It's just a little off-putting at first. The story's good. I want to say that this is a very enjoyable story, and it has a great theme. The theme is better than the story. And the reason I'm saying that is along the journey, the story sort of sags in the middle for me. It has a really good finale, but the journey there is maybe the weaker part of the film.
Okay, so we're talking about effectiveness. What about the voice actors?
The main leads are Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. So we reunited Star-Lord of Spider-Man again in the Disney universe. The one thing I will say is that if you thought of the character of Barley as this D&D obsessed guy with a van with metal art, you're going to think Jack Black, and that's kind of the voice you'd expect to come out of this character. Even the way he looks, kind of oafy in the shorts. Yeah. Chris Pratt sort of imitates Jack Black, at least the way I received the performance.
Yeah, it kind of comes off that way a little bit. It would just seem natural that you would cast Jack Black here to play that. But, Pratt does a good job, but he doesn't come across, he's just not that oafy kind of bigger than a larger than life character, I guess, for me. So.
And Tom Holland does a great job as Ian.
Yes.
He nailed the performance.
Yep.
You buy into him immediately as this character that's a little book smart, a little withdrawn. The rest of the cast is really outside of the film. They're just on the edges. This is a film definitely about two brothers in a pair of pants who has no voice acting.
Right.
So those are the two performances we're going to fixate on. Everyone else was fine, and like I said, Tom Holland was really good, and Chris Pratt was fine. It just, like I said, Jack Black's going to come to mind when you see that performance.
Okay, Adam, so let's talk about our target audience. This, I think, for a Pixar film, is not geared toward their typical target audience.
No, I think it's aiming older, and especially even into people that may be into fantasy, because a lot of the jokes, you have to have some fantasy knowledge to get, about the various fantastical creatures and the tropes of casting spells and spells backfiring, and definitely has a lean into the nerdier side of the fandom.
And there's no cute little physical character that's going to do a bunch of, slapstick comedy for the younger kids.
No catchphrases, you're right, no slapstick. And that's why I think the younger crowd that may have enjoyed Cars or Finding Nemo might have a tough time sitting through this film.
Yeah, and even in the screening we were in, there were a couple times where you could kind of hear younger kids starting to talk, like, what's going on, or I'm hungry, or I want popcorn.
There was some restlessness in the middle
Just
of the movie.
a little bit of restlessness. But I think Pixar's targeting this for a little bit older audience.
Yeah, but it is definitely a good family film.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But it just, towards the older end, and, middle school and up, probably.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about our final thoughts on Onward.
And this is tricky for me because I want to say it's good, not great. And I think I'm being unfair to the movie because of the Pixar brand on it. Pixar makes the best animated films of the recent era. So I think I'm holding them to a higher standard. And this falls, if I had to rank the Pixar movies, this is kind of among the sequels. It's not as bad as Cars 2, but it's just not up there with a lot of their original IP.
Yeah, I would agree. I think maybe I liked it a little bit better maybe than you did. It's not a home run, but it's a solid triple, right? I mean, it's a it's a very good film. And the end of the film really got me, tore me up. I mean, it's about a dad and his sons and reconnecting. I have two boys. So yeah, the end of the film just tore me up.
The emotional core of the film is great. The theme is great. The storytelling is good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm landing on it. And if I were to give this a rank today, we only saw it an hour ago, I think I would put it at 4 out of 5 stars.
And I would put it at 4 out of 5 stars as well. So that's going to be a recommend for me.
Yeah, it's a definite recommend for me. It's just not up to the top tier of Pixar.
Well, thanks for joining us on our premiere episode of the Film Coterie. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we are, again, excited to be a part of the Pod 6 Network and look for more content to come.